Sunderland flying, Everton crashing and burning, and Leeds United back up and running. Let's talk about it. Hello guys, welcome back to another video. This is something a little bit new on the channel. I've seen a few of you commenting on the videos to get a bit of a roundup on a Saturday or Sunday of the weekend's action, and we're going to give it a bit of a go today, so please do make sure to support this video. We're going to go through the Premier League and Championship scores. Let's go for 1,000 likes, hit that thumbs up button. It takes 2 seconds, so drop a like. Make sure to subscribe if you are new around here to help us get to 74,000 subscribers. And like I say, we're going to talk about the Premier League and Championship games that have gone on. Obviously, if you went to one of the games or if you watched it, do give us a bit more detail down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And let's start with the Premier League action, and there wasn't a Friday night game, so the first game up was Arsenal versus Brighton, two teams that have picked up maximum points so far this season, and they've shared the spoils here in a 1-1 draw. Now, obviously Brighton have been brilliant, but we're talking about Arsenal here, who are going to be a favourite to be in that title race. And out of Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, at the time of recording this, Arsenal are now the first of those to drop points. Now, they did take the lead through Kai Havertz, of course, but in the second half, Declan Rice getting a red card with his second yellow there did seem to change the game. João Pedro, who got that late goal against Man United, earning Brighton a draw, who are showing that they're not just here to make up the numbers, they are serious this season. What a great start from them. Arsenal dropping points to, I suppose, their old bogey team over recent years. Share your thoughts on that one. Is it points dropped for Arsenal? Because really, having led, it is, but they did lose Declan Rice, who I believe will be out for the North London derby after the international break. Next up, you got Brentford beating Southampton 3-1. Myself and Sophie did both back Brentford to win this game. Visa and Umbuemo popping up with the goals. We just knew that they would fill that void left by Ivan Toney, who did of course go out on deadline day. And Brentford, a very strong start to the season now, 6 points from 3 games. And as for Southampton, of course they were 3-0 down. They pulled one back towards the end. It's really worrying. They've got their first goal of the season, but they haven't got a point yet. And they have had 3 games which you would have thought they'd have picked some points from. 10 men Newcastle, Nottingham Forest at home, and now Brentford away. Nothing to show for it for Southampton, so they are a cause for concern. And then you've got this, Everton 2, Bournemouth 3, absolutely bonkers at Goodison Park. It did look like Everton were going to be up and running with their first win of the season, especially when they were 2-0 up with 3 minutes to go. But I did think Bournemouth might win this. Not at that stage, I must admit, but Semenyo gets the nerves jangling with his goal on the 87th minute, and then 2 goals in stoppage time through Cook and Sinisterra. And honestly, it's so bad at Everton. Really, really bad. I still think they could stay up. I do, but oh my God, how many times are they going to be involved in a relegation battle? Really, really worrying stuff. Depressing for Everton fans. I sympathise, do share your thoughts, but that is 3 points dropped massively. Absolutely disastrous for Everton. Fair play Bournemouth, let's give them credit. 5 points from 3 games. It could have been more, but look, it's a good win. They're up and running. They still haven't lost. As for Everton, I am worried, but look, at the end of the day, I still think they're very capable of getting to 35 points, and if they do that, I think they'll probably stay up, but goodness me, they're doing it the hard way again. Let's go to Portman Road, where it was Ipswich 1, Fulham 1. Good result for Ipswich. It's their first point in the Premier League. I say a good result for Ipswich, but I would be interested to get the Ipswich Town fans' thoughts in the comments, because this was a game which I thought was the opportunity for Ipswich Town to get up and running after playing Man City and Liverpool. They've got a point, but was it one of those games that if they're going to stay up, they have to win? Time will tell, but they didn't lose. That's the main thing. So do share your thoughts, Ipswich fans. On the face of it, looking at the stats, it could have gone either way. Of course, Ipswich Town did go 1-0 up through Delap. Fulham levelled with Traore in the first half. 1-1 draw. If you're a Fulham fan, it's been a decent start, 4 points. If you're an Ipswich fan, you're off the mark, and you have had 2 very difficult games before this. Next up, the other newly promoted team, Leicester City, they lost at home 2-1 to Midland rivals Aston Villa, who have now picked up 6 points from 3 games, which is a good start considering they've played Arsenal as well. With Aston Villa, they went 2-0 up through Onana and Duran, and looking at the stats, it does look like Villa might have shaved this, but Leicester, sort of similar to the Tottenham game, they were losing, came back strong towards the end. They did pull one back, but not enough in the end to get a point this time. Look, 1 point from 3 for Leicester. It's the same as Ipswich. It's better than Southampton. It's better than Everton. It could be a low tide to stay up this season. It could be that someone gets to 33 points and stays up. But with the fact there could be a points deduction coming for Leicester, they've got to get what they can before that might happen. As for Villa, good start, carrying on from where they left off. Forest Wolves, a 1-1 draw. 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes in the first 12 minutes here, with Chris Wood scoring, of course, and then Bellegarde levelling it up. And Sophie did predict a 1-1 draw. It means that Forest have continued this unbeaten start. 5 points picked up. Unfortunate to lose in the Carabao Cup as well, because that was a draw. As for Wolves, they're up and running after 2 very difficult games before that. So, look, I suppose they both take it and move on. You look at the stats here, it does look like Forest were pushing for the winner more, but that makes sense. They're at home, they've had the better start. Good business, by the way, bringing in Ward-Prowse on deadline day. I'm not worried too much about either of these in terms of relegation this season. Forest in particular, I think, should be fine. Wolves, their fixtures will get nicer, so it's a point that gets them moving. Both would have loved to have won that, but there you go. They settle for the point. Let's go down to the Championship next. I know there's Premier League games tonight and tomorrow. We'll come to them in due course, of course, but let's talk about the Championship games. We started with Friday night's game, which we'll give a quick mention to. QPR beating Luton 2-1. Great result for QPR. Their first win of the season, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and it gets them up and running. As for Luton, now it's becoming a bit of a cause for concern. 2 games, 3 games you can understand, but if it gets to 4 or 5 and then they've still not won, I will start to worry. Not to the point where I think they're going to go down, but a slow start can affect you in a promotion race, and that's surely where Luton will be this season, but time will tell. Let's go on to the East Lancashire derby, Burnley v Blackburn, and fair play to Blackburn, a 1-1 draw, which I think is a better result for them. Both teams have started the seasons well. Burnley got those 2 wins, emphatic against Luton and Cardiff, then they lost to Sunderland, and in this game, quite interestingly, the stats back Burnley, which they haven't done for the last few games. Looks like they had a great start, Foster getting them the early goal, and in terms of the stats, as I say, much more possession, much more XG, much more big chances. Vyman, what a goal for Blackburn, 1-1. They've also brought in Todd Cantwell recently, so that's decent for Blackburn. And yeah, they got a red card in the second half, but they saw it over the line. It's a really good draw there. Sophie did go for Blackburn to get a point, so I'll give her credit there. Blackburn, it's been a very good start. I'm very encouraged. As for Burnley, yes, I'd say it's probably 2 points dropped, but I still think they're going to get going at some point, and they're going to be pretty hard to stop when they do. Let's go to Cardiff. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 2. It's really bad for Cardiff now. You'd like to have thought that draw against Swansea, given the way it was done towards the end, would have been a platform for Cardiff to go off to get going this season, but clearly not just yet. But let's give credit to Middlesbrough. They're a good team and they got back up and running here. Obviously, they lost 5-0 to Stoke in the Carabao Cup in midweek. But look, they're out of that. They'll be thinking, let's concentrate on the league, and a 2-0 win here with goals for Clark and an own goal for Aaron Ramsey. So good, comfortable win here. The stats also suggest Middlesbrough had the better of this, and it gets them moving again. Second win of the league season for Borough. Coventry v Norwich. Ugh. Look, if you've not seen the match vlog, go check it out. I have vented my frustrations at this. It's not me getting all upset because of one game. I think in general the performances have been quite poor from a team that a lot of us, not just me, have expected to do well. So I've said, is there an element of we need to be a little bit more grounded in our expectations for Coventry? Potentially. It's still early days. Credit to Norwich, more organised. Signs gets the goal. I think it's a deflection actually, but very resolute to keep it at 1-0 and get the win. So they're up and running. Coventry, slow start as usual. And we've got Watford, then Tottenham, then Swansea, then Leeds. It's a really difficult run after the international break, but Coventry have got to get moving. Derby 3, Bristol City 0. This one really did catch me by surprise, and I will put my hands up and say I am sorry, Derby County. I did not back you to beat Bristol City. In fact, I went for the Robins to win, but Derby, very big winners here. Their best performance of the season, and if they're going to stay up, or even more than that, possibly do quite well, it will be mainly because of their home form. We've seen that now with the wins against Middlesbrough, and in particular in this game. Jackson, Goodman and Ozo with the goals. And the stats suggest that Derby did have more XG, more big chances, and worthy of the win. For Bristol City, I'm really surprised, but I still think they'll come good. Everyone is afforded one weird result, but I suppose the credit's got to go to Derby there. So well done. 6 points from 4 games. Not bad. Leeds 2, Hull 0. In this Yorkshire derby, Hull City are now still winless this season. They came into this game on the back of 3 draws, so not great from Hull, but I'm sure, you know, that they've not been bad. If you look at it, 3 draws suggests they've been in those games. As for this one, I thought it was really Leeds United just being that bit better. And it really now does look like Leeds United have got a platform to go off. After 2 games, we were a bit like, in particular the Carabao Cup game as well. But now that's out of the picture, and they've got 2 comfortable wins against Yorkshire clubs. Gets their season going. International breaks probably come at the worst time for the Leeds fans. But yeah, Joseph and Perot getting the goals in the second half. And looking at this, it looks like Leeds really did deserve it. So, good win for Leeds. I think if they carry on from where they're leaving off after this international break, then they'll be good. But I feel like towards the end of last season, there was an international break which really derailed them. So they'll be hoping for less of the same. Next up, Millwall 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Myself and Sophie did not know how to call this game. We both sat on the fence and went for a draw, and Millwall incredibly comfortable here. The stats on this one really do suggest Millwall were worthy of a big win as well. When you look at the XG here, 2.78 to 0.16. I can't quite figure out Sheffield Wednesday yet. I think they're probably going to blow hot and cold this season, which means they'll probably land in the middle. I think they've got enough quality to be in mid-table and not go down, but performances like this are going to restrict them from going any higher. But the credit has to go Millwall's way. It felt as if it was a team that's been frustrated with the recent results, and they've taken it out on Sheffield Wednesday. So really good response for Millwall. It gives them that bit of positivity going into this international break. And then look at this, another big home win. Oxford United 3, Preston 1. Preston did get a red card towards the end of this game. They went 1-0 up actually, with Jacobson's goal on 3 minutes. And it was a difficult one to predict, if we're being honest, because Preston were up and running with Heckingbottom in their last 2 games, but I have really enjoyed Oxford so far, and I think at home they're going to be a force, so I did predict them to win 2-1. They went one better and won 3-1. Like I say, Harris got another goal, then they go 2-1 up, and then there's the red card for Lindsay, and then Lee makes it 3-1 to Oxford United. Really nice win. So we're talking, what, 6 points from 4 games for both Derby and Oxford. Is really, really good. It's early days, but that is well above a point per game. So if anything, just avoid draws. If you're newly promoted and you want to stay up, win, lose, and that's fine. That's more than enough. Let's go to the next one. Plymouth 0, Stoke City 1, the Schumacher derby. Difficult one to put your finger on. Plymouth have been playing okay. They haven't won yet. Stoke won on the opening day. Haven't been as good since, but then they were brilliant in the Carabao Cup away at Middlesbrough, and it looked like it might have finished 0-0. But there you go, a late goal for Stoke City in the 83rd minute, pinching this one. The stats maybe just suggesting it was a close game, but Stoke edged it, and that is what's happened here with the scoreline. So yeah, it's actually quite good for Stoke now, because they're into the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. They've picked up, 6 points in the league now from 4 games. It's not bad really, actually, even though they've had a couple of poor performances against West Brom and Watford. As for Plymouth, there's fight, there's character, there's that competitive edge, but you need results as well. You need a win, and that needs to come soon, otherwise you get left behind. And you know, you look at the teams Plymouth want to stay up ahead of, potentially a Derby and an Oxford. They're already on 6 points, so yeah, Plymouth need to get a move on after the international break, and I'm sure their fans will agree with that. And then look at this, Portsmouth 1, Sunderland 3, and it looks really, really comfortable. This was a tricky one to predict, and I know in hindsight it might not seem like it, but Sunderland have been brilliant. 3 wins out of 3, they've deserved it. But Portsmouth have drawn 3 out of 3 against 3 good teams. Luton, Leeds, Middlesbrough. But Sunderland, just too good it seems. Portsmouth with their first defeat of the season, and Sunderland going 4 wins from 4, and like I say, fairly comfortable. The goal for Portsmouth comes in stoppage time with an own goal through 09, so it could have been 3-0 really. But yeah, there you go, Mundy, Brown and an own goal from Swanson as Sunderland run away with this one. The stats also suggest Sunderland worthy of the win. And look, after 2 games, it was like, yeah, anyone can win 2 out of 2, really. Then you beat Burnley and it's like, oh, okay. And then you win 4 out of 4 and it's like, this is very, very good. So no more thinking it's just early days. I mean, it is still early days. It's only 4 games, and if they lose the next 2, then, you know, they might drop down to 4th or 5th, but that's all if, buts and maybes. The credit has to go Sunderland's way. Labrie is doing a great job. It is still early, but so far so good. They can only win what's in front of them, and they're out of the Carabao Cup, so every bit of focus is going on the league, and I don't see much stopping them at the moment. And let's say they get to 6 or 7 games and they've still won every game, they've already built up quite a considerable amount of points to get into the top 6 or maybe even higher. But we'll leave it at there for now because that's still very early. But I just must admit, I'm very impressed with Sunderland. I will surely be backing them to win their next game after the international break. And the curse with Sophie is broken because she did back them to win and they still won. And then the final game, West Bromwich Albion 1, Swansea 0, and West Brom, keep your eyes on them. It's another win. It's 10 points from 4 games. Sort of sneaking under the radar potentially because Sunderland are getting all the credit. Watford getting a lot of credit considering they weren't tipped to do very well. Well, I did have West Brom to finish in my top 6 this season, and yeah, I mean, could be even higher than just top 6. Malumbi gets the goal before half-time, and it does seem like West Brom deserved this one. Possessions down the middle, but the XG and the shots are all in favour of West Brom. For Swansea, look, it's not a great result, of course. It's been a weird start for Swansea. They had that really good win against Preston, but everything else has been a bit flat. I think Swansea will probably be somewhere down the middle unless they can put some consistency together. But West Brom are a team being consistent, so credit to them. And that wraps it up. I mean, the main talking points have to be Sunderland, West Brom going about their business, Leeds starting to come good, Blackburn still hanging out up there. A couple of causes for concern, I guess, being in my opinion, Coventry not doing as well as I thought. Bristol City, not great on this occasion, but I'm sure they will still come good. Portsmouth without a win, but they've been quite good. Plymouth without a win, not been as good as Portsmouth in my opinion, but we'll see. And then as for the Premier League, Arsenal dropping points is always interesting. And like I say, some really crazy results, but Everton's not good whatsoever, so I am worried for Everton. But that is going to wrap it up for today, guys. Like I say, share your thoughts. It's just a quick little dive into the results in the Premier League and Championship on the Saturday. If you'd like to see this become a more regular feature, we can set this up so we go into more detail and talk about everything. I just thought we'd give it a trial run today, so if you like what you see, do drop a like, do subscribe, and please do share your thoughts, in particular if you did go to one of these games. We will be back with the content next week. Take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and peace out.